Hello, hello. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year! Halfway through January, it's okay.
Right. Yes, we're finally back in 2025.
Yes.
Welcome to the Lyons Den. I'm your host, Loren Lyons, and I'm back with a new TV recap where we will be recapping Wags to Riches. That's on Netflix. It is a reality TV show. And so I'm so excited to go and do this TV recap. Today I have a special guest with me, Adriana Alexander.
What's up? Woo,
Welcome.
woo, woo.
Um,
So glad to be
yes,
here.
yes, I'm super excited to get into this and unpack because it was a lot to unpack. But first, before we get into it, we have, of course, a couple of den rules. So you guys know if you're watching the Lions Den After Dark, if you have a glass, whether it's juice, water, or some liquor, please drink responsibly and have a fun time with us while we sip and chat about this TV show. Also, we also want to say that we don't know these people, so whatever we say is in the context of the show, so please do not take it personal. We don't know these people, okay? So we're here to have a good time and talk about what's going on. And yeah, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go. Let's dive in.
All right, let's dive in. So, Wags to Riches. I know like Wags, isn't it women and girlfriends? It means something. Oh my god.
Girl, when I
Like,
tell you I did not know what it meant, what does it mean? I didn't look it up.
hold on, now I gotta look it up. It
I'm like, is it
means
dogs to riches? Like, because when I hear wags, I think of dogs.
no, it's women and girlfriends. Wives and girlfriends of sportsmen.
Okay.
So it's an acronym for that.
Okay. That makes
Yes.
sense.
So if you are a WAG, if you're dating a sports player. Yeah, wives and girlfriends. So it's generally used, in that context. And so now we have a show on Netflix where we have a group of women who are dating or dated or married to those athletes. And we're pretty much walking through what their lifestyle looks like. But actually with a predominantly Black cast, which is very interesting perspective. That is one of the reasons why it drew me to watch the show. And then if you were a selling Tampa,
Yep.
selling Tampa fan, then we saw that our girl Sherelle was the anchor of the show. So of course we said, oh yeah, we got to tune in. We
I
got
know
to tune in.
people said she was more likable on Selling Tampa than on this show. We'll dive into that as to why. But I love them being in Miami, being Black and successful. All of their outfits, especially Sherelle. Oh my gosh. She's just a boss. I'm sorry. I can't say I'm the biggest fan of her character, according to the show, but she is a boss, and I feel like she's a good, messy leader for the rest of the pack. I like the dynamic of the show. I really do.
Yes, and that's one thing I was also excited about too. Was Wags can dress like it's a whole thing, and especially NFL wives. Oh my god! So I was like, okay, I'm ready to see the fashion, and I'm ready to see what this looks like from a Black perspective. Being in Miami, like this is great. So I'm gonna go ahead and put up our cast list because this is the big cast, right? Like
huge.
Generally, it's too big, and we can talk about that too in the end. Like, should there be cuts? Because this is a lot to cover, and everyone isn't really getting screen time. I think we should have more friends of in this cast list, but yeah, it's a huge list. So because it's a new series, we want to make sure when we're talking about the people, you know who we're talking about.
Yes.
But one thing I want to also just really name up front is this is the official cast list, but there's a cast member missing. She was not on the cast list.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I guess we'll deep dive, like, a little bit as to why. Because when you watch the show, you'll see maybe they're not looking to bring her back or have her full time.
Go ahead and just school her to the side. It's good for TV with the altercations because that's what sells, right? That's what people want to watch. But what the show is trying to bring She is the complete opposite, and it's just too touchy. I don't think the network wants nothing to do with that girl.
Yes, it's very, very interesting. So first, we have Sherelle Rosado, who, again, like we said, was on Selling Tampa. She's a real estate agent, broker, and I think she's an investor as well. So, which we'll see throughout. That a lot of these ladies are also real estate agents. Then we have Ashley Wheeler. And now Ashley, I can't quite remember what she did. I think she's a real estate agent too.
I think she's a real estate agent too. And then, of course, her husband is in the NFL.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he's very quiet. He's the one with the barrel locks. He's really quiet. And even when Ocho Cinco is around, and all the football guys are around, he's really standoffish. I think that's interesting. He never really talks to them.
Very interesting. Yes, he keeps to himself. It was, very, very interesting. We have Portia, Portia is also a real estate agent. She's with a retired boxer. Then we have Alexis, who was formerly married to a NFL player, I believe, but she's also an investor of a cannabis farm, which that girl making money.
Yeah, she making money.
Because they don't want black people in that cannabis farm. Because you make a lot. You make a lot of. She's making money. Then we have Lastonia Stoney, who is a boutique owner. She is the ex-wife or ex-baby mama of Rick Ross. I'm actually not saying that out loud. What is her connection to a woman in sports?
I don't think there's any connection. I think it's just she's just like the rapper side of it, so former baby mama.
True. Okay. Because then we have MJ, right? Miranda, who is the baby mother of Kodak Black's 2 kids. And then we have Keita Hills, which we honestly can put Keita and Sade as friends of. And if I'm going to put it in like Bravo terms, they're kind of friends of here. We don't get too much from them. But Keita is, let me see. I believe Keita.
Oh, her boyfriend or husband is Tyreek Hill.
Yes. Yes. Her boyfriend is Tyreek Hill. And then we have Sade, which I do believe might be a real estate agent as well. I could have those wrong.
I know it's an NFL.
Yeah, but they're both engaged and married to a NFL players as well. So that's their cast list. What we do have is one person who is, I guess, would be maybe considered a friend of at this point, and her name is Jules. So, and this is who we're talking about, who is not on the official cast list, and we'll deep dive probably as to why a little bit later in the podcast. But Jules, she is an event producer. She has worked with Yeezy, which is Kanye West, and she was working with his projects. I know in the blogs, I guess a couple years ago, he had publicly fired her for misconduct, and so they deep dive a little bit later into her story, which is a lot. But so we get a cast mixed with people married or have children with NFL players and people in entertainment in general. Here, she also has a son with a NFL player or basketball player. I don't really know, an athlete.
So I think it's football, but yeah. Anyway, we don't like her anyway. So.
So that's your cast list. We're gonna keep it up for you guys as we, start talking about these people. First thing that we get, right, is we are introduced to Stoney and Alexis. Stoney and Alexis already have a friendship. Stoney, Alexis, and MJ also, like, collectively already had a relationship, but Alexis is talking about, the group of girls, and she's excited to, connect with them and be together. Stoney, as many don't know, or we find out, Stoney was involved in a scandal, a very public scandal, because her baby father, Rick Ross, and 50 Cent got into a beef, and she was honestly as a casualty of catching a stray.
Yes, she was. Yes, she
was. She did a mixtape with her ex, not Rick Ross, but another ex. And they did a video privately, and somehow that ex sold it to 50 Cent, and then 50 Cent released it to the public. So then the whole world saw her mixtape, her sex tape. So how did you feel about that, Adriana? With Stoney telling her story?
It was painful to watch because, she's a victim here. And I don't understand why some of these women on this cast don't see her as a victim. And they're shying her away. They're casting her away. It's not right. And each time she talked about it, when she was at the table and when she did the confessional, both times she cried. So I could tell it really hurt her. Luckily, she got some money out of it from 50 Cent, right. Big baller. That's the bright side. But on the downside, the guy who's in it does not look bad at all, but she has to live with it for the rest of her life. And she's a victim. Right. She had nothing to do with that.
Right. Because it's revenge porn. And that's very illegal. So I don't understand why why she should have to explain herself and why people are questioning that. It's crazy to me. And it's like, is there information that we don't know that people aren't bringing forward as well? Because I kind of got that feeling a little bit, especially from Sherelle. Like, is there something you're not telling us? But also, and we'll get into that a little bit later, but it was just kind of like, why is there so much aggression over her? Right. That was weird. So,
and to add on to that, to add on to that, Kim Kardashian had a sex tape that went out and now she's a billionaire. It doesn't stop anything, especially in 2025, 2024, when this was filmed. It doesn't stop nothing. Nobody cares about that no more. It's about what you do moving forward. But if you let that define you, you let it define you. But she's working as hard as she can and not let it define her and move on. I think everybody else should too.
Yeah. And I think, kind of jumping ahead here, but I think to be so concerned about who you're around, and I get it. I understand you don't want to be around any and everybody, but like you just made the comparison. How many people are in the pockets and work with Kim Kardashian who has done the same thing, And it's but people got to know her. People are still doing business with her, like her or don't, whatever. But so why, if I'm Sherelle, why would I not at least be open or just actually want to get to know you myself, without the judgment? I can just get to know you. If I don't like you, you're not my cup of tea, then I keep it distant. Then if you are, then we're okay, cool, we're friends. But to just completely cut off is crazy. It's just what else is going on here? And again, we'll deep dive a little bit in more in that a little bit later. But that was just really crazy for her to experience. So Stoney and her talking about it at lunch. Stoney just off the rip talks about it because I'm sure Stoney wants to use this opportunity as vindication. So she tells Alexis about it. She says she does already feel judged by the girls. She doesn't really know why, because it wasn't her fault. She was very suicidal when it came out, and she has to, as a mother, be concerned about how this will impact her, her kids when they get older and they may see it. Just because she said she wanted to show a man she loved, that she loved him, the man that she loved. So I felt for her for sure, because some people, we're not gonna sit here and act like everybody do smart things when they're in love, and when you're showing love to someone, it should be a safe space, but it was taken advantage of. So I definitely feel for her on that one. We get scene 2 where Ashley and hosts the pool party where we get Portia, Sherelle. I can't remember if Jules was there. I think Jules was there, but I don't know.
I think Jules was there.
I think she gets there later, comes later or something, because we do get a flashback in a later episode where they were at Ashley's house. But they're pretty much talking, and Portia says, "Yeah, I'm gonna help Stoney buy a new house because she's currently staying at her ex Rick Ross has purchased her house," and you can just see the disdain on Sherelle's face. But then in the next breath said, "I really don't know her." That was crazy. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't get why she. And y'all two are one of the oldest two on this crew, and it's just so much, and it's on both ends. I can't say it's just Sherelle. If you see, latter part on, both of them fake to each other. I don't get what's that.
Right. Yeah. So Ashley, I think, throw shade at her. Like, I think she says, well, because Portia says she's gonna buy, be a real estate agent. She says, well, you need to make sure there's proof of funds. And Sherelle loses it. She's laughing, kiki, ka, and everything like that. And I was like, oh, this is giving Mean Girls.
It's such Mean Girls. Ashley is so shady.
She's very
so
shady.
Time and time. Every episode, she says at least two things shady. That's why I don't like her. I don't like her. But go ahead. I can see why Sherelle and her get along.
Absolutely. They are very much if I had to put it in Bravo terms, Giselle and Robin, maybe.
Oh, that's a good one. That's so accurate.
It's giving a Giselle and Robin type of relationship where they feed off of each other. Yeah, and then we have Alexis here who, in my opinion, didn't do the best job of standing up for her friend in this moment. She was like, well, I always feel like I'm in the middle, but come on, guys, relax, chill, relax. Like, if this is my friend, you're not going to say something like that with me here. I'm just not. So I'm like, okay, is Alexis' role to be the mediator, but sometimes maybe plays in the middle here? Because that's what it's giving. Because she was kind of on mute here. They were on here. And then, this is the thing that I caught in this episode where she was like, where Alexis, it kind of felt like to me, Alexis was downplaying Stoney and her relationship. Oh, I know her. She's cool.
She did. You're right.
Yeah.
But the next scene is her talking about deep stuff about life and this and that, and they crying together. But when you around them, she plays the fence. I wish the show would have a reunion to really show the dynamics of how people, flip flop a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. I think a reunion is definitely needed. And I get it, season 1, but there needs to be a reunion because there was a lot to unpack. Sherelle ends this conversation or scene by being like, I can't benefit from you. I'm not around you. And I'm not she pretty much says my bar is very high. Okay.
Who are you, Sherelle? Like, I get your boss, but you can't be arrogant like that.
I was very shocked. I said, whoa, who is this?
And she said it bold too. And everybody's just like, okay, goodness gracious. But they know how she is though. So
right. It's a very elitist thing to say.
It's so elitist.
I was like, oh. Okay, cool. Interesting. So we move on to the next scene in episode 1 where Sherelle and MJ meet up and talk in the park. And this is where we first kind of introduce more of MJ. MJ is only 22 years old, has 2 kids under 2 by Kodak Black. And this is a conversation. Her and Sherelle have a conversation, kind of like a mother and daughter type of situation. What did you think of this scene?
The immaturity in MJ definitely showed. And it's kind of like the puppet for Sherelle because MJ doesn't have that guidance. And we'll discuss how we came to that theory that she might not have had the guidance. I think the advice was heartfelt, but I don't know if it's going to help her.
Yeah, I agree. My heart does go out for MJ because it's like you are a child. Like, dang, girl. Like, you're not a child because you know, but it's like you are young, like pre-frontal lobe. 2 kids under 2 with a man who wants the streets instead of you. Like,
Yeah.
and you're begging him like for your
Yep.
attention. And he never gave it. Like, that's the thing. Like, you thought he was gonna give it, maybe with
Because of the
kids,
2 kids, right?
but he never gave it. Like, even when you didn't have the kids, and yet, like,
it's not gonna change anything.
It's not, and you're in this position now, like getting out of character, and you know, self-isolation, always furious, upset, angry, mad, because you're trying to force something that just is not going to work. Like, and it's just really great. Like, it's just really sad because it's like, girl, you shouldn't want someone anyway. Let's say he does change his ways. You shouldn't want someone who's going to put you in the ringer, and then it's like, oh, you know what? Maybe now I want to change. It's okay. I'll give you all the things you want for it. No, you deserve the things you want the first time. And I just, there's a lot of stories of that, and it's unfortunate.
There's a lot, because when they announced her as Kodak Black's girlfriend, I'm like, I don't know that man live. I don't follow him, but I just also have never heard of her. So I was like, who is she?
Right.
Who's this girl with 2 kids? I'm like, it sounds like she just wanted a baby mamas, which that's pretty much what it is. And if I'm not mistaken, she's on the verge of going to jail, maybe even prison, because she fought a girl tied to Kodak. Come on, girl. But she's 22, and you can hear the immaturity in when she speaks. Not trying to shade her. I'm just saying you can hear the lack of life experiences. Yeah.
Right. And emotional maturity. You can. Because to sit here and say, like, when Sherelle asked her, okay, well, what do you want? She was like, well, I want him to be monogamy, but I know that I need to, some things I have to settle and may not get in monogamy. That's crazy. Like, that's a wild thing to say. And what I do like about Sherelle in this situation is she does say, you know, she does challenge her. She's like, I understand you have a lot of things going on, but you also have a lot to lose. You have 2 kids and you have a business. You can't just blow up or disappear when something's not going right. Like, you have responsibilities. You can't just shut down like that. It's not only unprofessional, but that behavior is simply not okay, because it's not behavior you want your daughter to do. And I was like, okay, yes, it's very true, Sherelle. I will give her credit. She did do a good job of holding her accountable, because although she's in a toxic relationship, there is accountability that MJ should absolutely be taking in this situation, for sure. Mm-hmm. For sure. So yeah, we have that scene, and then we finally get to the rooftop, which is kind of where we get a all cast showing up in one space. It was a lot going on to really even follow. To be quite honest, we had like weird moments with the husbands, like some being very isolated, others like women, like Keita, I believe, like was weird, or not Keita, I'm sorry. Sade, I think. Sade, we meet Sade a little bit more. Like, her husband comes, it's weird. I think Keita's husband, like, he was just loving and bragging on his woman. I said, yes, we love a king who loves to love out loud. We love that. Like, yes, as it should be. So it's a lot going on. Like, at this party,
I will say it wasn't the best first shot of everybody together. The second one was better. That first one, which I was like, I'll give them grace because it's their first time on TV in a reality TV space. Maybe the Sade's husband was uncomfortable. I don't think everybody was comfortable at that moment, but they did what they could.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if there should have been a ladies' dinner first, or at a house party, something where you can kind of control the space a little bit more, so we can get a true understanding of what's going on, because it was a lot. It was like, wait, okay, someone here, someone there, wait.
Like, and it just kept showing up every 2 minutes.
Yeah. It was very hard to follow. Very hard to follow. In the midst of this, Jules gets a text conveniently from Yeezy, Kanye West.
I like how you said conveniently because it's so true.
Because it's like, how the camera's rolling, he texts you. That's very interesting.
Oh, sorry, easy. Looking behind. Go ahead. Please.
I got a text. Like what?
I got a text. Stop it.
Like, okay. He sends this big group text pretty much saying there's a business, I guess, a person in the business named Milo who he's finding out is doing shady stuff. And other people have issues with Milo. And so he pretty much, I guess, sends a text accusing him and would like to move forward with everyone. Mind you, he just publicly fired her. Mm-hmm. So I believe this is where Ashley shows up. Like she's talking, she feels like, oh wow, maybe he realizes that Milo is the one being shady because Milo would be in his ear and be controlling everything and making it out to be like he's crazy. And so maybe this is maybe he figured that out and this is my moment to come back because I really like the job. You liked proximity to fame, and I can come back and help him out and go back to working at Yeezy. So Ashley kind of challenged her here. She pretty much was like, are you sure you want to work in that type of environment? Because when it was time to actually stand for his people, he waited months to come back and speak to you. What did you think about that? Yeah.
I'm sure it's a high profile artist, person, everything under the sun. He is the guy. But in terms of you growing up as a woman and as a mother, that's not an environment you should be, like you said, continuing to try to thrive in. I like her doing the event planning thing. I haven't seen her, do any of it, but I feel like she does have that, as much as I'm not a big fan of her, that social element where she can get into any sort of social setting and thrive.
Yeah, she does. So yeah, Ashley kind of pushes back here and it's just like, are you sure you want to do something like this and put yourself again in this type of environment where you're not supported, you're not seen, you're not heard. But also Ashley wasn't buying it. Ashley was like, I'm sorry. I kind of believe that there were some things you were not doing correctly that got you fired. Like she was like, I just don't believe that everything was innocent on your end, because she was like the streets talk. And I believe that was a conversation Alexis and Ashley had separately when Jules walked away. So yeah, I think because she's a community, she has a reputation in the community. I think in this moment it definitely sealed the dynamic already of who Alexis is going to be. Alexis is going to be that middle person that everyone from across groups, the cliques, are going to probably go to, and she's going to get all the information. That's not a bad position to be in. It's not, if she plays it correctly. It's not a bad position. But we just see a lot of the times both sides come to Alexis to talk about their issues.
Sure do. They sure do.
Yeah.
And to be honest, she gives really good advice to everybody. Does. And she's like a motherly, like she gives motherly, real good advice, a lot of life experiences. She seems really nice. She's someone I would like to get drinks with out of everybody here. She seems like a really nice lady.
Yeah, 100%. But would probably be the one person I would be like, you want to know. Yeah, that's a good position to be in where you're being fed the drama. Therefore, maybe you don't have that much drama on your own, which she does have. She has a storyline of her love life. That's something interesting in her business. But to be brought the information that like cements your positioning in the group, which is really good long term. So that was very, very interesting to see develop. Portia does invite Stony to the rooftop party. Everyone is looking, but Sherelle out of everyone is looking very disgruntled. So they end up pulling them together and saying, let's just hash this out. Let's just talk it out. This is where I think we go back to what we just said, where this was not the best setup area. Like it should have been it should have been something just the ladies, a sit down, a dinner, someone's house, because it was just too much.
It's too much.
It was entirely too much.
Any conversations they would wouldn't have been genuine or held any sort of foundation, because we're just doing it for this moment right now. You know.
Right. It was a very rushed moment. Now I do appreciate that they were ready to get into it, but it was just kind of like, wait a minute. Like it's a bit, there could have been more things to make it flow a lot better than just like, well, let's come over here and talk about it. And we never all met each other. Like you haven't met me before. It was kind of crazy. So pretty much it's a position where Stony has to kind of explain herself. But for some reason, Sherelle is so upset that like, what did you do with your money? You won this case. You had this opportunity. How could you blow it? Like, huh? What? Like, what? Like,
that's her business. It's not your business.
Right. Like,
and I know Sherelle she has experience blowing a man's money and not doing right by her. But I'm sure she's learned better now. She got her own and she's thriving. But you've done it. I know you've done it too. I'm assuming she's done it too, because she's been with the high ballers, and I'm sure she done blew a couple mil that she shouldn't have blown. So don't act like you're so higher and holier than thou, girl, because you're not.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I just don't get it. I'm like, why are you concerned about her pockets? But why is that also? Why are you holding her responsible? Like, you're judging her based on a mistake only. And it's like, as a woman, as a Black woman in Miami, that is completely hypocritical. Like that's completely hypocritical here. And so it does. And as we progress through the episodes, in the back of my head, so something feels wrong here. Like something else is at play that starts with the C. And I'm like, but maybe there's some, like, I'm interested to see how this is going to roll out, because it feels like colorism, right? It feels like you are super judgmental because Stony is the darkest person in this entire group of friends. And you know, as a brighter skinned woman, there are certain privileges that you have. And some of them do judge darker skinned women harsher. And don't give them grace. And again, we'll see a little bit later, even how the Jules situation is handled. You're just sitting here like, okay, so you gave Jules grace with letting her be in this group, but Stony, you don't know. And Stony, you just won't allow yourself to even find out who she is, like see who she is. So it feels like colorism. Again, we have the rest of the series to really fully see and say, because is it something that Sherelle knows that we don't know? And maybe and you're not saying it on camera just yet. I don't know. But it's either, to me, it's one or the other. That's how I feel.
Mm-hmm. It's either something more to the story or it's colorism.
Right. It's just what it is. Because, I mean, I believe she called her a hoodrat. Hoodlum. So Stony and Sherelle do talk separately, which I commend Stony for being like, let's talk to the side here because it's too much going on. And, you know, I think Stony said everything she could possibly say logically. Like, you don't know me. You're basing it on what the streets are saying. You as a public figure know about rumors in the streets and what street talk is. and you have the nerve to judge me so harshly. Does that make sense? So Sherelle gives a half apology. Not really.
Not real. It's fake. It's fake.
I'll just be cordial to you. I'll just be nice to you.
Because in the next episode, she'll talk about her again.
Right.
It's just like,
yeah. So that was very interesting. I was like, okay, yeah, this feels very wrong. So as far as cast dynamics, already we're seeing in episode 1 that Sherelle, Ashley, Portia, our clique, Lexus is playing the middle.
Yep.
And we have MJ, who may, so far has allegiance to Sherelle, but we're going to see as we move forward, is it how loyal is she really? But so far, that's part of the episode 1 of the group dynamic that we're seeing here.
Mm-hmm.
So anything else in episode 1 you want to touch on or bring up or mention?
No, but I think it was a good first episode. And it lays out, for the most part, who these women are, what they bring to the table, and again, how their friendship dynamics look. So I think it was a good first episode.
Yeah, I agree. It was a lot going on. So it definitely grabbed your attention.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So 2, we kick off where Sherelle and Ocho Cinco, because was with Ocho Cinco. Very interesting start. She says she's always had a crush on Ocho Cinco, so she was a fan, and she DM'd him for a one-night stand, but then I guess it became more. She has 4 kids. He has 5?
Ooh, I feel like it's more than that.
7? I feel like it's more than that. And then they have 1 kid together. So we get a little bit more of the history behind how they got together. Now she, of course, because of her first divorce, she's like, I'm never going to be in a situation where I'm depending on a man again. And I believe in having my own. And she's done that. She's a very successful woman. I will give her that. She's standing on her own, and not leeching. Because to me, it feels like she might financially be more well off than Ocho Cinco. I'm not sure.
At this point. Because real estate in Florida, you're going to make money, bro. Especially on her level.
Especially as a developer and an investor. Absolutely. Or a developer and a, a broker. Especially a broker. Yes. Mm-hmm. So we get a little bit of that background information, and then we go into where Jules, and I have Sade. Is it Sade or is it Alexis that she meets with? I don't remember. Because I feel like this might be actually Alexis, not Sade, that she meets with, but I can't remember. But
it's Alexis. It's Alexis.
Okay, because I have Sade, but I think that's supposed to be for later. Because I'm like, I don't think this is correct. So it is Alexis. She meets with Alexis, and we get now more of a background story on Jules, where she's married to a athlete, and she's talking about how her relationship. Well, one, she jokes and says, I might need a plan B, which we can sort of a foreshadowing here. But she talks about how her baby daddy wasn't okay with, he wanted, I guess, more of I don't know, traditional type of family where, she says she sacrificed doing the presidential campaign and the rollout of the Donna album because she was pregnant and her fiance or boyfriend didn't want her doing, out there doing those things while she was pregnant.
Yep.
Yeah. And she said that she felt like she downplayed what she loved because he didn't respect it. I will say, in hindsight, it probably was best you didn't work on the presidential campaign. Yeah. I mean, some things you kind of work out for your best, but because it was an absolute, show. But I do understand and get, like, if you're with someone, they should respect the things that you do and never belittle them. And I think it's important that y'all are on the same page on what your dynamics of your relationships are and gender roles. Because if you were an ambitious woman before, why on God's green earth would a man think you would just stop that? Like,
no,
that's not fair.
Mm-mm.
That's not fair to me anyway. I don't know how you feel about it, but
I agree.
Yeah, so she has a conversation with Alexis. We get a little bit more background on her boyfriend, but then she's also messing with him again. So
wait, Alexis is messing with Amari Stoudemire again?
No, Jules, because Jules was talking about her. Yeah, she's talking about her baby daddy, but not like and how he doesn't support her. But then they're also sleeping with each other and trying it again, I guess. Mm-hmm. Mind you, she's not saying he's gonna be supportive this time either. Anyway, no. I don't. Yeah, a lot of these I've learned, like, we obviously tax bracket wise we live a different life, but like morally, like just certain things we live a different life.
yeah, because come on.
Yeah, y'all different. Y'all different on a lot of things, but we move forward to MJ, and that's something that I forgot to mention in episode 1. We end episode 1 where MJ, there's news that MJ got arrested for battery and assault, and Stoney was trying to call her to figure out like what's going on. So we open it back up where MJ acting completely unbothered. Like, what was that? Like, yeah. I was very confused. Very unbothered about the situation. Mm-hmm. And she admits she has an anger problem, but doesn't regret what she did.
But she might have not want to say that, because once you go to the stand, then the judge gonna be like, how do you feel about what you did? She said, I'm really remorseful. Well, on episode 2 of Wax to Riches, the Netflix show, you said you weren't. I think there's some things she said about that situation that she should not have, and her attorney should have let her know.
Absolutely. Like,
she said something about I don't know if that's the episodes we're on yet, but she has to know. Well, it's too late now, it's already out, but hopefully it goes well for her, because she spoke a little too much about that situation. She should have just said it was an assault, I didn't do it, and moved on. But she didn't. She's detailing the night. I almost envisioned what happened that night because she kept talking about it. You can't do that.
What? She did, yeah, because she shared that she couldn't go on a boat with her kids, and Kodak, he wanted his baby mothers and his kids to come together on a boat, and she couldn't go, so her mom went instead with the kids, who are I'm sorry, I was about to be kind of shady.
Girl, where the shades at? Go ahead, chick. Go ahead, be shady. Let's go. No, I'm putting them on because she need that. You give me that.
With 2 kids who can't even say daddy, right? Like, that's the family. That's the family.
I didn't even think about that. That's crazy.
That's the family bonding, is we're on a yacht.
And I'm sure, guess what? All the parents would. Yeah, I know all the parents was drinking too. I know they were.
Woo! I was just kind of like, huh? Which we forgot to even mention. She got her son, who again is just coming fresh baby, a chain that is probably heavier than him, weighs more than him. Like,
if I'm correct, the number was 30,000. The dude was saying. She was like, "Oh, okay, that's nothing." Oh, she's like, "Wait, what she said? I gotta hit my baby daddy for that." She's like, "Just kidding," and then she like did the thing, and then paid it. I'm like, I get you're trying to like make your mark on the show and like do the whole thing with the money thing. But I think that was just irresponsible. Come on, what are we doing? Why?
What is the reason?
But you see what? 22 years old, immaturity. She could have used that money for something else so much better.
Literally start him a bank account, or invest, like build him an account that he can access when he's old. I mean, come on. I just don't, because he has a chain. Why? When were you walk around with a 3-month-old? I think the child was like at least 3 months. Put a chain on the
Yep.
That's big. It's probably heavier than the baby itself.
It's probably not even good for his neck. It's probably not good for his neck.
No, it's not.
Oh, she's so young and naive. She's so young and naive. It's so irritating.
Different. Yeah, I was like, yeah, this is different here. Yeah. So they get on a boat. There's family time on the yacht, right? And I guess the other baby mama was getting close and stuff with Kodak, and the mother tells MJ, and MJ goes to confront the mom, and they start fighting.
We should know all this, Loren. We should know all this. But go ahead. We should know all this.
Yeah. I was like, so she's charged with burglary and assault, grand theft. Because I guess the girl was saying that she touched her car door.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. I didn't know if there was that episode. She was like, yeah, she said I touched her car door. No, I didn't. Her car door was already open. I'm like, girl, shut up.
Tomato. Like, were we? Oh, Jesus.
She was like, and then when they went to the brunch, I'm skipping ahead, but this made me laugh. She was like, she came to the brunch. I think it was episode 2 or 3. Oh, it was 2. And she was like, she's coming. She had I think it was Balenciaga. She had a Roku outfit on. Yes. And she came in. She was like, I'm feeling good, but I went ahead and came. And in her confessional, she was like, I wasn't in the best mood to come to the brunch, but I'd rather be at brunch than be in jail. I'm like, girl. Oh, that was funny. I'm like, yeah, I think you would prefer to be at brunch too instead of jail.
Yeah. Wow. Hello. Like, yeah, that was insane. That was actually insane. Oh my God. So yeah, we get to the brunch. We get to the brunch, and they don't invite Stoney, which I feel like this is way too early to be trying to ice out people. Like that's crazy to me. And production has to stop allowing talent to do that. Like, you can't. Like, we're too early, season 1, for y'all to be icing people out. This is just crazy.
That's a good point. And if you isolate them, like you said, it has to be a foundation so viewers see why you isolated them. But right now, it just looked like y'all being mean, and we barely know y'all on this show.
Hello. Exactly. I was like, what is going on? Like, we must stop this. Like, but Stoney wasn't invited. But Sade, so we it comes, even though she's not a mother quite yet, but she wanted to come to the event because it is a mom's event that Portia is hosting with her business that she has. I don't remember what was she selling. What was she selling?
It was her mom, bitches moms.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Something. Hard work, bad bitch mom, something like that. Okay.
Yeah. She had a brand that she was having. She was having an event, which it just looked like a lunch, but I'm sorry. Anyway, so Sade decided she wanted to come. And so when they asked, like, hey, where's Stoney? They were like, oh, we didn't want to invite her. We didn't invite her. And pretty much the other side of because you had 2 sides at the dinner table. You had Sherelle, you had Ashley, And I don't know where Alexis was, but then you had Sade, MJ, Jules on the other side.
Yep.
Keita, was Keita even there?
I don't think Keita was there. She's been so just not present for the show at all.
Yeah, but there was an issue, backtracking a little bit to bring context to the what happens in the argument. Keita is married to an NFL player. She's pregnant. She's having his 10th kid.
Oh yeah, wait, we didn't touch on that. Where's the shades? No, I need the shades now. Come on, I need the shades. I need the shades. And she was there in the kitchen with her mom, and they're just talking about it, and it's just like, wow, like, and she's smirking about it. She's like, we're gonna just make it work. It's just our little family. Like, no, it's a big family. That's a basketball team, and you only have one player. That's like playing dice, and everybody has more chips than you or dice than you. You got one shot. I forgot to mention that. Oh my gosh.
Woo! Man. I will like, oh Jesus.
And you know what else? The way I've heard about Tyreek Hill slinging around, I didn't know that man was even married, Loren. I didn't know he was married. I be in the tease. I've heard about him slinging around on these blogs and these magazines and these articles. Ooh. I didn't know he was married.
He's been slinging. Wow. Which 10 kids, it's very believable. So he had 3 babies when they got married. They broke it off. He had babies in between. No. The 3 babies were when they found out when they got back together, and he didn't know because on her break.
So wait a minute. I need 2 shades. Hold on. Because that's one thing to be on a break, Loren. That's another thing to knock down 3 women unprotected.
Hello.
Unprotected.
Hello. Like, oh,
and she's
my
like,
God.
We're on a break. She's trying to justify it. We're on a break. So, yeah, we're just on a break, but like, we're all good now. Like, I'm pregnant. He's here. We're in Miami. Girl, go back to what we just said. We're not good.
But y'all all got a problem with Stoney. I'm going to say it. Y'all all got a problem with Stoney.
But it's Stoney that's the problem. When she was a victim, she didn't put that out. Somebody bought it. That's illegal.
I said, we've lost it. Like, what is happening? Like, what?
Ooh, I got something else I want to bring up so bad when we go back to the brunch. Ooh, I want to bring this up, but let's keep it on cue.
Okay. Yeah. So, like, with Keita, right? We introduced with her. Keita is talking, where she had a run-in with Sade. And I guess they were filming a show, The Hard Knocks or something. And the women and girlfriends, wife and girlfriends, all booked a suite at the game. And Sade was one of the people that organized it. And so with that, they all had, I think, long story short, they wanted to film some of the documentary in the suite. And some girls felt like, no, we don't feel comfortable doing that. So Keita ended up having to be outside or something to film when it was really cold. And so she kind of felt like Sade was being mean and didn't know, like, because she didn't know her. You were being shady and you didn't need to be like, you need to do that because we were all cold. Why couldn't you come there? Okay. So flashback to the brunch. Sade is like, y'all mean girls, because why did y'all not invite her? She's a mom, like, you don't know her, you're passing judgment, it's unnecessary and it's all mean. And even Alexis was like, yeah, y'all are being mean. So they're like, I'm not being mean, I just don't want certain girls around me who blow their money and hang out with the wrong people.
Everybody at the table has flaws. Right. Everybody at the table has flaws. Everybody's blowing money. Why are you worried about just her? I don't get it.
The hypocrisy is screaming.
because
screaming at this brunch.
And I'm gonna get back to her once Stoney arrives. I'm gonna get back to Sherelle and correlate some things. But go ahead.
Yes. So we then get Ashley, or then Ashley does use this moment, which I will give credit from a Bravo reality TV perspective. Ashley, yes, like the way that she brought up that situation with Keita, yes, like that's what we do. Like it was tactical. You slid in there and said, "Oh, but what about you and Keita? Like, why didn't you talking about us not inviting somebody? Why didn't you let Keita film? Be hypocritical." I said, "Ooh, okay, you're clocking in. You're showing up for work. That's what we like. That's what we do. That's what you're supposed to do. Absolutely, that's good." And so, Keita, I mean, so pretty much Sade explains, like, one, Keita was not in the original group text. Someone was texting on her behalf. She purchased it like later, like her ticket later. But also, which it kind of makes sense to me, if I'm shooting production, like if I'm a production company and I want to film, and I want you to show up or film somewhere, like then you need to pay. If these people paid to be in the spot and you want to use it for free, it don't necessarily make sense. You need to pay some money. You should have paid for the suite if you want to film there.
Why was that so hard to understand? Why? And y'all money, y'all money makers.
Okay. Like, you want them to film for free and we pay?
No. And this HBO money? And you want to use my money? No, HBO gonna pay for this.
Exactly. I was like, I can definitely understand that.
It wasn't personal. It was straight business. It wasn't personal.
Yeah, like they could have then paid for our suite if they wanted to use it for their film, like you would pay for any other place you want to film. Like, and everybody's now got to move out of the way, watch you sell. It totally made sense to me. I was like, yeah, okay. So you thought you ate with that one, but I appreciate, because that's how we should be thinking. It's reality TV, but it's like, and then Portia then proceeds to bring up, she brings up how she was acting weird. Sade was acting weird because of Keita, and she saw her, so she thought, like, pretty much, I guess, she's trying to prove the point that, like, you were acting funny towards her, so why are you coming at us about Stoney? Sade was like, no, she doesn't know what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. I do appreciate that Sade was willing to stand up against Sherelle and not back down. And it absolutely, like, Sade was shaking. Because she's yelling, like, not Sade, Sherelle. Yep. Because she was getting loud, and Sade was like, "You need to calm down. What you getting mad for?" Like,
she said, "You the oldest one at this table." I said, "Clock her, clock her, clock her."
Hello.
She clocked her.
Yeah. So it was. I mean, we always sit downs are the golden moments in reality television. So it was eating. It was like, ooh.
The only thing I think Sade should have handled better is after that altercation, they got up, they got their food, whispering in their little corners, and they came back and ate. I wanted Sade to act unbothered and not have an attitude the rest of the time she was sitting there. Because Sherelle was kicking with Portia, kicking with Ashley, and Sade just sitting there. She didn't want to cheers and nothing. Don't let her get you out of character. Keep doing your thing. Cheers, yes, girl. Everything else she handled good though. Yeah. Cheers, girl. Woo!
Like no. Like you have to take confidence and own that. Like, yeah, I just read you. Yeah, I just said what I said. Like, don't downplay it. Don't. You got to stand on it. Stand in it. Like, that's how we keep getting secured, and we secure our spots. We are willing to come after the big dogs, the anchors of the show.
Yes,
you got to stand on it. So I completely agree. Yep. Yes. Yep. Nah. She shouldn't have did that. And so to end this event, Portia announces that she's pregnant. Congratulations.
She's such a follower and a little like puppy dog to Sherelle. I just be like, girl, like get off the camera. She just follows Sherelle around like a lost puppy and says like yes to everything she wants to do and whatever she says.
Yeah.
She's like a you walk all over her kind of girl.
Very much. Very much. Very much. And it was like, all right, y'all, this little trio is about to get me already. So we do also see that MJ is very much like able to switch and not just only be loyal to Sherelle. And I like that.
I like that.
That is good. That is very good that you're not just attached to one side. So that's a very interesting, more developing dynamic. So yeah, we move on to MJ having dinner with her mom. What did you think of this conversation with her mom?
The mama was a pimp. The daddy was a drug dealer, a scammer, something like that. And the advice her mom gave her was just so bad. Just make it work. You know, you guys are meant to be together. Like, you just have to do your part as a woman. Like, he don't have no fault, no responsibility. It's all on her. Well, he the one who clearly don't want to be with her and is not ready to commit to her. Bad advice. And you see how she, 2 kids at 22. You see it. But luckily, thank God, she got her stuff together. She does. Realtor, but she just got to realize that her and Kodak, 95 chance they're not going to work. 95% chance they're not going to work. She has to realize that. That's the one thing she has to realize. But yeah, the mama, terrible advice.
Yeah, I again felt bad for MJ. I respect, her mom, because at the end of the day, some people do have to do what they have to do in order to create and live a better life. I understand that. But we have to make sure that we heal from those traumas and we're not passing them down to our children. And it felt like all of the things that aren't positive were passed down because it's like, I'm going to teach you how to survive, but like, she should be wanting to thrive. So if I know that it barely worked for me or didn't work for me, or this is how it put me in a situation, I wouldn't want that for you. And her mom pretty much told her, like, you just gotta, with a man, you just gotta pretty much settle and, figure out what you want to deal with and what you don't, like, and be okay with that. So she should settle for a man who doesn't want to be monogamous. That's insane. Like, that's insane. Wow. So your daughter doesn't deserve someone to treat her like she deserves to be treated? That's a sad place to be. That's a very sad, unfortunate place to be in. All for what? Like, so you can have money, you can be in proximity to fame. Like,
what about love? What about like an everlasting relationship, a bond, a partner?
Right, support. Because MJ is not okay. Like, she's not. She's not okay. And yeah, to hear her mom say that was like kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah, even was. And MJ brought up how she was raised by her grandma for the most part. Because her parents was living the fast life, the dangerous life, just drug life, sex life, just too much. She had to get raised by her grandma. And usually, girls who are raised by their grandmas, they end up being fast and grown. But she had, luckily, it seems like she had her kids after college or after high school, rather. But yeah, that's usually happens when kids are raised by their grandma. They live that fast life too because they don't have that guidance because the grandma don't raise the same as the mom. So right. I'm proud of her for being on this platform though.
Yeah, I am. And this will give her an advantage that unfortunately some women don't get because you are financially different, like a little bit freer. So you should have the opportunity to get it right because you have more to lose. But yeah, I think that just goes back to, you're going maybe to your grandmother, she's teaching you something, but then you see your mom. And it looks like you can tell MJ looks up to her mom.
She does.
And has admiration And if there's not a real honest conversation of don't do what I did, like honestly there, especially from, but I mean, that would require her mom to know, like, hey, it looks nice, but this is not what you want. Like, you have to have that real honest conversation so that MJ's not wanting to do life like you. But no, her mom was pretty much like, yeah, do it like me.
Look how you turned out.
Be like
she
me.
did not look all the way together. She didn't.
No.
She didn't.
No. Yeah. Yeah.
And one more thing I want to say about MJ too.
Mm-hmm.
She has to watch who she's around. That's why I like that she's around this group of older women that she can learn from. Because the girls that you are around and the baby mamas of Kodak, they're jealous of you, girl. That's why they fought you and they got you in that situation. And you possibly go to jail or prison. Watch who you hang around, because the girlies are jealous that you got it going on you on this show. I wish nothing but good on her, because the girlies want to see her downfall. I don't want that for her, because she seems like a nice girl.
Yes, I completely agree. Like, I hope she takes advantage of this moment, and I hope that people are genuinely honest with her, and she can mature and make better decisions. Because you're right. That's true. 1000%. I hope but that's, I think, also another thing which is interesting about this show is I look forward to seeing how these people evolve.
Yes.
I look forward to seeing an evolved prefrontal, post-frontal lobe, mature MJ doing her thing. I want to see that. I want to see what this looks like,
And they bring up Kodak, she can be like, girl, who? Girl, I'm living my life. I'm on a beach. Like, I love that.
Right. I look forward to it. So that's where I do like about the show is there's growing room for each person in multiple ways. So, yes. So that was episode 2. Then we finally get to go ahead.
One more thing I want to bring up with episode 2. That was the brunch episode with the Portia's event, right?
Yes.
That was Did that happen then? When Stoney says she was Rick Ross's first baby mama?
No, because she wasn't at the brunch.
Okay, gotcha. Go ahead.
Yeah, she wasn't at Portia's mom event brunch. That I think happens in a later episode.
Wait, I thought they were praying, and then Stoney came up during the prayer. Okay, that's okay. I'm too far ahead. Okay.
No, yeah. We happened in the first one. Ooh, I can't wait to get to that one. But we now at episode 3, where we open up with MJ, of course, again updating Stoney, which is very good. And in terms of dynamics, like, you need that person, especially if they're trying to ice you out. You need a person that can pull you into what's going on with the group.
That's MJ. If anybody is,
it's MJ. And that's good. And again, this is way too early to be having ice culture in a series. It shouldn't be happening. But MJ was like, well, maybe you should try, and Stoney was like, why? Didn't mean to rhyme there, but I kind of agree. I agree. Like, Stoney, and that's, I think, speaks to Stoney being a grown woman. She's like, I'm not going out of my way to like be friends with someone and bow and kiss their ring hand to be included in a group. She's like, I'm not doing that. And as she shouldn't. Yeah, I agree with that. Because it's weird. It's very weird. So then we move forward to Alexis and Ashley, and they're having like talking, hanging out. Ashley surprises Alexis with a surprise date of a guy she knows from the NFL, which why are we still like, this is not new news to me. This is not new news that we need to leave athletes alone. And you go interrupt her whole beautiful life and say, here's my NFL friend. Are you setting her up for failure? Like, I was just like, we should have learned the lessons here. What are we doing? I didn't get it.
Now, luckily, he seemed like a nice guy and he had no kids. That's the only reason I was like, okay.
Okay.
But when he said, do you have any kids? She's like, yes, I have 4. He was like, ooh. I was like, dang.
Because, I would too.
That's why I thought, well, we're going to see if they work out.
Yeah, we're going to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to see if it works out. Yeah. So that happens.
I wish she would have left too and let them have a date. I wish she would have left instead of like being the mediator with their date. She could have got up, went outside, had a little drink by herself. She was just a little too interactive. Like, you put them there together, you leave.
Right, and let Chance, let them decide if they want to be together. Yes.
Yeah, she was too interactive.
Yeah. So we pretty much get to and I guess we can talk about now that we've done episode 2 where the dynamics have now shifted. Like, we're now seeing more of the dynamic where it feels like we said, Sherelle, Ashley, Portia are a group, a clique, and now we have Stoney, MJ, and I guess Sade in a way. Maybe she's still a bit of an outlier, but she's leaning on the side of Stoney a little bit, and we have Alexis playing the middle, and Keita pops in and out. But it very much gave, I think, Keita was more on Sherelle's side.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we are right now with the show. So we now get really to the, I think, climax or big part of the recap is we get to a restaurant or a bar that's Black owned, and the group of girls come to hang out. Mind you, it really wasn't a group of girls hang out. It was really a couples event, and it seemed like they were both separate. They just happened to show up together, even though we know they were supposed to collectively be together, but they ended up being at 2 separate tables, 2 separate booths. Before Jules gets there, MJ and Stoney, and then there's 2 other friends that they have there, are talking, and they're like, y'all are hanging out with Jules. Y'all not hear what people are saying about her. She's saying she's a culture vulture, and I have a problem with that. One of MJ's friends, I think it was MJ's friends, was just not letting up. She was just like, no, it's not okay. And I feel like she should know, like, you shouldn't, like, we know what you're doing and it's not cool. Which, it kind of felt a little opportunist. A little bit. It did.
Because that was only episode 3. And I was like, who is this girl? Because she's giving like a cast member, like, shaking stuff up.
Yeah, because I don't even know what her name was.
No. I hated her outfit too, girl. Like she was going freaking pluck some flowers. Ew. Jules was dressed better than you, and I don't even like Jules. She was dressed better than her.
Yeah, it was very weird. It was like, okay, you're giving Deborah energy. Like, you showed up just to get a moment on camera. And as production, as a show, you have to protect your cast. You do, just in general, you have to. But before we get to that situation, we have a situation where most of the girls go and sit by Sherelle, so it's very much giving high school energy.
Girl, you saw that? Even because I think, if I'm correct, Stoney and Jules came in together and they sat at that table.
Yes.
But then they called, I didn't like how they were calling people over there to their table. Y'all could get up and y'all could go speak to them. And I didn't like how they got up and run over there. So Jules went first, and then she sat with them and left Stoney by herself before everybody else came. And then they were like, come on, Stoney, come on. And then Stoney got up. I'm like, Stoney, you're supposed to just be like, hey, good to see you. I'm not going to run over there because Sherelle over there. But she ran over there and chatted with them, little thing. And then she finally hung out with Alexis and them at the bar.
Right.
It was so high school. Ugh.
It was so high school. I keep saying this. It's too soon for y'all to be acting this way.
Yes.
We're season 1. This is not. This is why you need friends as a group. Production should not be allowing this to happen.
But it's spearheaded by Sherelle. That's who's spearheading it.
Absolutely. She is. Because you all know she's being a mean girl, but then you guys play it and you're like following her around like she's Regina George.
Yes.
It's ridiculous. So then they have a conversation with the couples there, and they ask like, "Oh, do you guys want more kids?" I don't remember the responses because I didn't care. But what we do notice is Jules like, look, when she asked Jules, "Well, do you want more kids?" Jules looks kind of like, I don't know. So it was just kind of like, okay, because at this point we don't know why Jules looks like that. But asking everyone, do they want more kids? Which there's something I could say there too. But anyway, nobody else.
I give it. Yep, I get it. Yep. None of y'all behinds.
Nobody. With all of Miami. Like, no, I'm kidding. Like, that's it. You've done your job. You were fruitful and y'all multiplied. That's it.
I knew he was gonna say it. I knew it was coming. I knew it.
That's it. Oh my God. Like that's great. I'm sorry, but wow. But anyway, so this is where things get on and popping. They have a friend at the same time talking about Jules and how she's a culture vulture and that she needs to take accountability. And then so like Stoney, right? Because oh, that's how you feel? Bring her over. Hey, Jules, they got something they want to say to you. So she gets over there. We stand people who talk, say a lot, and then when it's time to like, okay, let me tell you what I said, you want to sit here and act like, I don't know, I didn't say anything.
Yep. Guess what? The boy had to say, she said you're racist. Like he had to go ahead and ignite it because everybody was just like, she said, well, I didn't say racist. I'm like, girl, then what did you say? Come on, get it out.
Exactly. You sitting here looking crazy and looking side-eyed. Say it.
She side-eyed her so hard.
Yeah. I'm like, say it. Don't play. Like, I can't stand it. Like when
Jules came up, Jules was like, hi, everybody, hey. And then she's like, hello. And she's like, hi. I'm like, girl, what who are you? Anyway.
Yeah, it was giving opportunities. It was giving. I see the cameras. You told me that we're filming. Let me see if I can get myself on the show. But it does, I will say it though, it doesn't excuse, like it doesn't take away from Jules being a culture vulture. Like she was absolutely correct. Because I will say, looking at Jules, I didn't know if I was like, she's either white or she is ambiguous, like ambiguous Black girl. Yeah. I didn't know until I kept watching the show and I was like, I actually think she's white. So yeah, and there is an archetype of a white woman who shows up in these spaces like that. So the girl tells Jules, and what was crazy about this whole situation is, I don't even know how it started, but essentially Jules asked her, so what do you do for your community?
The audacity is what any questions anybody had about her being a culture vulture. Culture vulture.
There it is.
Answer right there. That's it.
In these spaces, in these moments, it always exposes how they really feel about Black people. You like the idea, you like what we contribute, you like the style, you like the culture, but you really don't like us. You really don't. Because why are you questioning a Black person? What do they do for their culture? Baby, I exist. I live. I breathe. That's what I do for my culture. Like, what do you mean?
And I know going back, that young lady wished she didn't answer the question. She shouldn't have answered it.
Yeah. Like I wouldn't have even given her that. I wouldn't even sat here and argued with her. I forgot how they got into it. I think it was like, oh, I know you say you do stuff with our community, but like what do you really do for our community though, other than be a culture vulture? And then I think that's when Jules said what she said,
Yep.
and questioned her. Like, you are questioning a black person? What?
And then she said it was actually a great answer. It was actually a great answer still. She still didn't owe her an answer, but it was a great answer. Real estate agents, she sells black people homes where other, real estate agents wouldn't give them a home. Okay, so you make money off homes. You see how you just downplayed the contribution? You don't even know the history behind us being redlined in communities and not having access to homes even today. You don't even know the history of that. And you just watered that down. You don't even get it. You just watered it.
Correct. Which just further proved she was a vulture.
Yep. You don't even know what you're talking about. Do your research.
Hello. Especially if you're going to try to question another black person on what they do for their culture. Maybe do your research.
She's so wrong.
Like, you walk right into it and you proved everything they said. So the girl start going back and forth. The girl starts pointing with her finger. Jules smacks it, and then they start fighting. In that moment of rage, Jules says, see, my hair is real. This all mine. Another microaggression comes out. I'm like, yeah, see, this is...
What does that say to, like, your friends, your black friends who wear weave? What are you saying to them? Their hair's fake too, right?
Yeah, again, there are archetypes like Jules who love the idea of blackness but really don't like us. And it's either they have a strong disdain against black women or they hide behind black women to cosplay, like, and to hide from the fact that, like, they're vultures. And we are seeing that. But when it comes down to it, they really show how they feel. They really do. Because if I am, and I'm kind of jumping ahead, but if someone is accusing me of being a culture vulture, why is my first reaction to be angry? That if I know that I'm a white person, like, I need to step back and I need to listen. Because if y'all are black telling me this, you all know. Like, why am I sitting here arguing with you and then going to outsiders to validate what you're doing? Like, that is crazy to me. That makes no sense. Like,
and the girl, she also brought up the t-shirt. Yeah. And when I saw the t-shirt, I'm like, you did ask the question. You asked the question.
Insane. That was insane. Like, it said these was it N-words are crazy or something.
Oh yeah, N-words be crazy. Yep.
Yeah, N-words be, I'm like, what? I said, oh, Jules babes, yeah.
And then guess what? You know what she said when they brought up the shirt? Ninjas. And you know what the girl said? Say it. I'm not gonna say it. She said, okay, Rosie, wear it. Why would you wear it? You won't even say it. That's the problem. She really is, like, I've never seen such a clear culture. I can't say it. Look at this. Culture vulture. Because that's the difference between a Jules on a show surrounded by black people. There's a difference between a Jules surrounded by women that are black. And there's a difference between a Kim Zolciak surrounded by women who are black. There's two different white women you can be. You can be authentically white Barbie, period. And you can try to play into it and be black and be offensive and be a vulture like Jules. It's two different women you can be. Who are you?
Yeah. And I know from Florida, like, it exists and it's an issue, which is why I did appreciate the cast being predominantly black. So we can see, because when we talk about Miami, we act like there's a community there sometimes, but also, like, being vain, being elite, being taking from blackness and creating beauty standard or system that prioritizes people cosplaying as Black, but then you have Black people in Miami who are dismissed, disregarded, disrespected, like are not afforded the same opportunities because you're allowing vultures to do it. It's a real thing. It happens. It happens in Florida. It does, and specifically Miami as well. So I like that production showed it. I like that production allowed for the cast to comment fully their feelings and thoughts about it and didn't try to hide it like some production companies do.
Yep.
I hated how they cut the fight. I hated how they cut it. Like that was a weird edit.
It's weird edit.
Yeah. And I was like,
because the last thing I remember seeing is her standing up and like getting a couple hits in, and they cut to the men outside, and then by that time they were broken up. And I was like,
right. It was just like, oh, see, this is my real hair. And then that was it.
There we go. That was it. And then after that fight, then they went to the scene outside. And I'm like, what was the aftermath of that night?
Exactly. I that was a wild edit. Very wild edit. But yeah, I do appreciate that they allowed the cast to have a full conversation and not cut. Like Ashley went off about the situation and talked about like we know your reputation, we know what you do, we try to give you a chance, and yet here you go proving exactly what we already knew, which does bring me back to my point that I said earlier about Stoney. If that was the case, why were you giving Stoney such a hard time, but you allowed this white woman to come into this space and give her grace, and you hanging out with her knowing her reputation, but you can extend that same grace to Stoney?
It's given y'all rather have a white culture vulture in the group instead of a successful Black woman. Y'all gave her multiple. They brought up so many different things, and I love how production included the picture of the T-shirt, and they included the context with Jules. All these chances though, and all it is with Stoney is a sex tape that she didn't put out. She got exposed,
right?
And it's like, no, not her, but we'll give her another chance, Jules. We'll give her a chance. This was finally the camel that broke the straw.
Yeah. It was very like, okay, so you guys knew this. Yeah, it definitely exposed it. And then we even get a situation where was it Portia, I think, was talking about it with her husband and goes and gives her perspective as well. So I liked that we got to see that conversation being had with a man. And she'd be able to express that. And they did go and do a flashback of when Jules was wearing braids. And Sherelle did it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like, that. Oh my gosh. And she was like, yeah. Everybody just looking at her like,
right. Yeah. And then again, proves our point that we've been saying with Stoney is y'all gave her pass. Y'all didn't hold her accountable. Y'all weren't have this much energy towards her, but you had all the smoke for Stoney that you don't even know.
Make no sense.
What? So we ended, and I do like, I think it was Portia that names, like in Florida, it is a big issue. It's always about race, and no matter, I think what she was saying was, yeah, it's Florida, it's the beaches, it's supposed to be diverse, but it's always about race in Florida. And Florida has a major issue with racism. And I'm like, yes, clock it. Absolutely. Like,
clocked that real well.
Huh?
She clocked that like very well. Like that was a great statement. It was a quick little in the car ride with her husband. Great little portion though.
Yes. Yeah, she clocked it. Like, yeah, y'all really don't think Florida is very racist. You be distracted by the beaches and everything, but it's a very extremely racist place. No matter the city, you can still be racist. It exists. But lastly, we get to Jules and Sade, and they meet at the Versace, which I've seen on Real Housewives of Miami, them go there as well, because you can stay there too. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. So it was cool to see, us in there. But then we actually get more context as to why. Well, really, we get excuses from Jules. You talk to a person who wasn't there, which was already
no accountability.
No accountability. And then we do, though, get information about why Jules Sherelle so weirdly when Sherelle asked if she wants kids. Apparently that day, which is crazy, or recently, Jules made a decision to terminate because her baby daddy didn't want any more kids. And you know, she had to make this tough decision, even though she just had a child, like a 6-month-old, which wasn't it alleged? Didn't somebody report recently that she's pregnant now, or is that false?
Girl, I ain't hear nothing about that.
I saw that somewhere, but maybe I'm mistaken. I could be mistaken with that. So I don't. That's not confirmed.
Before we move forward, I don't want to say I don't believe Jules, but when you get an abortion or even like miscarry or stillbirth, those kind of things, you have to be on bed rest for a couple of days because you have open wounds.
Yeah.
You out that same day.
That's what I was saying. I was like, was I understanding that correctly? Because there's no way you were about to fight someone and you just terminated a pregnancy.
And she had on white pants. Did you have on a pad or something? Because you'll be bleeding.
I don't know. Like maybe we got the timelines off. I mean, maybe they didn't explain the timelines off correctly. Because it was a little bit confusing. It was confusing, but yeah. So she explains that Sherelle knew about this. She called her, and Sherelle was going to encourage her to still come out. And so when Sherelle asked her, that's why she looked at her like, why would you ask me that?
She asked her twice too. She asked her twice, and I don't think Sherelle did it to be malicious. I think Sherelle, I think she was just hearing the girl on the phone, wasn't really listening, and she didn't care. I don't think she cared.
Yeah. Or do you think it was a slip of Sherelle? Like she asked her and was like, "Oh, I forgot you told me that." Because that's a very I don't see a person just being so malicious to do something so serious like that. Intentionally. Like I know you just did this very hard thing, and because sometimes people just talk and don't think. Like, oh shoot, I shouldn't have asked you that, but I don't want to make it awkward, so I'm gonna just complete the moment and move on.
Okay.
But I think what really got Jules was, I think, her reaction to Sherelle not taking accountability, at least for that part. Which I do agree. Yes, if it was a slip, say it was a slip, own that. But I also do agree with Sherelle that do not use it as an excuse to go and fight someone, Black person, a Black woman at a Black establishment with a Black group of friends. This is not an excuse.
It's not an excuse.
Because you're both grown. You can leave. You could have left.
Yep.
You didn't need to do that. I get it. You remove yourself. You are an adult. So I get that. I fully get that. But here we get. This is what get me about something. If I ever see that I have a white friend being accused of being racist, discriminatory, etc., and I find myself feeling like I need to defend them, I'm on the wrong side of history.
You're on the wrong side.
You're on the wrong side.
Sade. You just don't understand her. When I was having a little discussion, a little lunch, people just don't understand her. Like, I know her heart. Like, she's a good person. Like, you just have to get to know her. No, man. But I think that whole discussion they had, like, Jules was pouring her heart out to Sade. And Sade sit there like she didn't care. I'm like, I don't think anybody really cares about Jules in real life. They just like the idea of Jules, but who she really is, they don't like. Because while Jules was pouring out her heart about having an abortion, all Sade was doing was, girl, that's, man, right. She didn't even care. Y'all not real. Y'all don't like her.
She has a very, like, not connecting to Sade a little bit. Like, she's very blank.
She's bland.
Kind of just, yeah. So I'm interested to see what she gives more of. It was a very weird conversation, but to sit here in your confessional and be like, I know her, she's never been racist to me. I was like, Sade, how do we go from cocking Sherelle to like supporting a culture vulture? I'm confused. Like, you should never. And even if I feel like some people, however I feel with the critiques, I should always hold them accountable if you're my friend. That should always be my position. Is if you're my friend, if you are my friend in relationship. But to sit here, if I ever find myself giving you an excuse, I'm probably on the wrong side. I'm probably have lost the plot, and that's what Sade did. So that was insane. But that was pretty much the end of episode 3. So at this moment, what it looks like is we have a dynamic of Sherelle, Ashley, Portia still, and then we have Stoney, MJ, Sade, Jules is probably more on the Stoney side because she was very much trying to stand up for Stoney. Keita, I would say still don't know where she lies, but yeah, that's our group. That's our dynamic. I look forward to seeing how this is going to evolve. I think from a long-term perspective, it's not wise. The Sherelle and Stoney split, although very interesting, I think they would be more powerful together. That's my hot take.
Yep.
I think if it was a dynamic of a Karen and Giselle, that's very interesting because y'all are the oldest in the group. Y'all are more mature in the group, and people see you both as the anchors in a way. I think it's more long-term, better dynamic. Do I see that happening? I don't know. Should Sherelle would need to atone for a lot of the nasty things she's done in order for that to take place. But I do think they could be something powerful and really cement them as a group if those two come together. That's just my take. Any final words from you?
I hope this is not a show that's one season it gets canceled. I want this show to continue.
Yeah.
I hope they're filming right now. I want us to invest more in our new shows, our new creative shows, whether it's reality TV, whether it's scripted. I hope this show stays around because it definitely has legs to go on for at least 4 or 5 seasons. That's what I hope moving forward with the show. Because there's so many conversations you can have. We just spent an hour 38 talking about episode 1, 2, and 3. You know? So I hope this stays around.
Yeah, it's a lot. Me too. I definitely hope so as well. But yeah, we'll be back to recap episode 4 and 5. And you know, there's a lot to talk about because it just gets better and better. So I'm super excited to deep dive again. I hope it stays, please. And yeah, any final things you want people to know or things coming up for you, Adriana?
Follow me on social media at Adriana Reports. That's ADRIANA Reports. I'm a news reporter here in Texas, in Central Texas. So if you live here, make sure you watch KCN. Little shameless plug.
Yes, absolutely. And again, guys, follow us on the Lyons podcast. We will be coming back with 2 new episodes on the podcast very, very soon. We're also going to be doing more recaps this year for sure. Like we need to finish. The one we did, Dead to Me. Is it Dead to Me? I think on Netflix. We want to finish that. We're going to finish that one out. have some new episodes on Spotify and the actual podcast. And so, yeah, follow us on TikTok at the Lyons Den Podcast, and also make sure to like us. We're gonna have some more exciting things coming out. Yeah. Thank you so much, Adriana, for coming and you know, deep diving this deep series with me.
Yes.
Yes.
It was very fun.
Well, that is all. Very fun. Well, thank you guys so much for watching, and look out for the next one. Bye.